Hey y'all, welcome to Sunshine Haze. I'm Aja, and as you see tarot cards on your screen, you know what that means. Bars. It's time for a new moon tarot forecast. This time it is the Gemini lunar cycle, so this is the new moon in Gemini tarot forecast. This video is for Aries, the fire sign, Aries, y'all wild Aries people. So before I get started, if you feel like the video is not resonating with you, it means that it's not for you. Please do not leave any comments talking about how you're in Aries and how you just didn't connect with this at all. Myself and nobody else cares. Go on and check out your moon and rising sign. No, seriously, these are general readings, so if it's not resonating with you, you probably actually do want to check out your moon or rising sign. The messages for you will probably be in one of those videos. And now, if you're just Aries all around, what I'm going to say is that you just don't want to accept the message that's coming from this reading. No, okay, guys, yeah, no. If it's not resonating with you, it's general. And sometimes certain readers don't resonate with certain people. You know, it's just like that. But, yeah, let's go on and start shuffling for y'all. This is the new moon in Gemini, so we're going to do, like I always do, typical 5-card spread, little quick 5-card spread for you. As always, going to be looking at the energies coming in for you during this time, Aries. Also going to be looking at any energies that may be crossing you or the energy coming in for you. And because we're dealing with Gemini, going to look at a card position that is talking about what's changing, what's breezing in for you, what do you need to adapt to. And then we're also going to look at another card related to Gemini, and this is the Live Your Best Life card. How can you truly, freely express yourself? Ooh, y'all, what was that? It like flew across the, oh, okay, that's the world. Aries, oh. And then the 8 of Wands, I was opening the deck to put it back in the deck. What's that? What's this? The 3 of Cups. Something is going to change. Something is going to change quickly. Maybe not as drastic as the Tower card, but the change that comes in is going to really shift things for you in the long run. And you've got the 3 of Cups there. So this may have something to do with your friends or your relationship. Something is going to be going on that shifts in there, but whatever happens is divine timing, okay? Whatever happens is divine timing, and it's happening so that you can actually put yourself onto the path that you're supposed to be in. All right, y'all. Let me finish shuffling these cards. I just said that I always shuffle in between readings, and I shuffle before I start recording too. And as I was shuffling before this video, I was in my head, I was like, okay, Aries sun, Aries moon, Aries rising, and then of course, cards were just flying all over the place, which is normal for me when I shuffle for the fire signs. Y'all just make my deck really crazy. But let's go on and actually shuffle and see what's going to be popping off for Aries. Aries sun, Aries moon, and Aries rising during this new moon in Gemini. And this is mid-June to mid-July that we're talking about, okay? And I would also like to let you guys know, depending on what's in your chart, what degrees are in your chart, what your signs are, this energy may be very heavy for you during the shadow. It may be very heavy for you throughout the whole time, or kind of a subtle energy for you throughout the whole month, or it may just kind of last up until we come into the Capricorn full moon. It all depends on what your chart is looking like and how you are. Gosh, Aries, what's going on? Whew, something's ending. Something is changing. Something's transforming. You had the Death card fly out and the World. Something is changing. Most likely ending, so that you can come into a new and really walk down your soul's path and your life path, okay? Aries, I don't know. I need to finish shuffling. I don't know what that means. I mean, I do know what those cards mean, but I need to do y'all's reading to figure out. And then sometimes cards just fly out because they, you know, the universe wants me to give you a message, and then your reading has nothing to do with it, but typically it comes up to where I can tie those cards flying out into your reading, okay? Look, I was trying to make this a short intro. I really was, and then the cards, y'all's little fire energy just wanted to be like, no, read me. All right, y'all, was in store for Aries sun, Aries moon, Aries rising. It's new moon in Gemini, mid-June to mid-July. Bars again, guys, gosh, I need a contract. Sign me, pay me. All right, cut the deck again as always. What's poppin'? Y'all are literally like the 4th or 5th sign to get that. I don't want to call it a dumbass card, but I'm so fucking tired of seeing this motherfucking 8 of Swords. Sorry for my language, but I'm really over it. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm going to read these cards for you. Let me not put my bias into y'all's reading. There it is again. 8 of Wands. Ooh, and the Son of Wands. Okay, that came out while I was shuffling too, but I was like, look, I didn't drag this intro out long enough, but I guess we gonna be talking about it anyways. Whoo, Aries. It's a lot coming up for this reading. It's a lot. Okay. So let's just start from the beginning. And when I say it's a lot, I'm getting a lot of messages for this reading. 8 of Swords, right off the bat. The energy for you guys during this lunar cycle, Aries, you may be in a position to where you feel trapped, you feel stuck. But I more so pick up on this card for this particular spread for y'all, and it's been kind of a different message for everybody that's gotten it. I'm actually going to go and look at my readings and see. I think it's 4 of us. I know Cancer got it, Capricorn got it, Libra, and Aries. Anybody else? There might be one more. I'm not sure. But by the way, I'm a Cancer Sun, Moon, and I'm a Capricorn rising, so that's why I'm over this fucking card. So, because when one of my readings don't work for me, I be like, okay, my rising sign gonna be popping. And then I did the Capricorn read, and I was like, what kind of shit is this? So, you know, this energy is so prominent for everybody because, one, it's a Swords card, and we're in an air moon. The Swords resonates with the air element, which is all about our mental, about our perspective. But this Gemini moon is specifically, truly, honestly, for us walking down our paths and living our truth and living our best lives. And so this card coming up for a lot of people is going to show us like, hey, you're not being you, you're not being true to you. But back to this 8 of Swords, the message that I get for this card for y'all Aries is you might be in some sort of situation as to where, and this could be like a job, this could be like a relationship, this could be, you know, some sort of family stuff. You're just in some sort of situation to where you feel like, you know, you've done everything that you needed to do. You've done the work. You've developed. If you look at this butterfly, this is a fully developed butterfly. It's actually not inside of a cocoon. This butterfly is actually ready to spread their wings. But everything around you, every possibility that comes up in your head, you're like, if I take one step this way, it could all go to shit. If I do this, things could get fucked up and fucked off. Or if I do it like this, things could go like this. So this card coming up is saying like you're kind of comfortable wherever you are, Aries, and you're thinking that if you can just remain there, that things will get better for you. But with that, what I want to say about that card, Aries, is that if you look at the card, you're barely hanging on to this sword. You are barely hanging on to that thought. And what happens if the wind blows? You know, what happens? You're going to fall into the swords anyways. With that being said, I do want to say that whenever I read this card, although the swords are kind of external, I consider them, with the 8 of Swords, more of internal thoughts. I consider these your what ifs and your can't do mentality. If you have this card coming up in a spread. And that's not just for Aries, it's for everybody when I read that card for the most part. The energy for y'all during this lunar cycle, I don't know, Aries, something is going on to like, it seems like something is going on and you're so used to it that you're like, I just want to hang out here because this is what I know, this is what I'm used to, like I don't really know any different, and any other different possibility could just pose, you know, a whole bunch of burdens. It could cause a whole bunch of harm. It could cause a whole bunch of nonsense for me. So you're kind of in a stagnant position. You're kind of in a position to where you're just like, listen, I'm not doing shit. Like, I'm going to just keep coasting and whatever happens, happens. But, you know, you can't stay in this position forever. Okay. Now, the next card that I have coming up for you is the 4 of Pentacles. And the 4 of Pentacles is coming up for you in the position of what is crossing you, what energy is going to be crossing you during this time. And because this is a Pentacles card, we're dealing with the Earth suit. We're dealing with the Earth element, which has to do with, you know, our foundations, our finances, our careers, sometimes relationships, sometimes I don't really tie the pentacles into love, but I consider relationships a foundation. So sometimes we're talking about relationships, and sometimes we're talking about familiar relationships. It just depends. But if I was talking about that Eight of Swords and you were like, "Whoop, that's me," you know what this is. The Four of Pentacles, typically when we're talking about this card, it's a card of gain. It's a card of being stable. It's a card of having control over the things in your life and what's going on and how they're going on and the way that things are playing out. This card coming up in the position that's crossing you is saying, during this time, Aries, you might be dealing with a situation regarding your finances, regarding your foundations, regarding your relationships, regarding your careers that you actually don't have a grip on. It's like you can't control it. You don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know how it's going to happen next. And that is really bothering you. As we all know, Aries is a sign very heavily related, Aries is a sign that is heavy with, that energy of the self, the energy of me, and I'm not saying that in a selfish way. It's just Aries is a sign that knows what they want and knows how they want it. This card crossing this Eight of Swords is telling me, Aries, that during this time, you might be in a position to where you don't know what the hell you want, or you don't know what the hell is happening. Also, because this is a card of control and you guys are Aries, what I want to say is y'all actually might be dealing with a situation in which you want things to go a certain way and you're planning them a certain way. You're planning them in your head a certain way. But the way that the universe and the way that life is coming at you, it's just like, nah, bruh. They say one of the best ways to make, and I don't know what y'all believe in, but I believe in God. One of the best ways to make God laugh is to tell him your plans. And so this is kind of what that card is saying. Like, Aries, you got a plan, and your plan might not be, or you had a plan, and your plan might be unraveling. It might be falling apart, which is what's putting you into this Eight of Swords energy. This is also, when this card comes up, this is also saying that you might be coming off to people very demanding, very overbearing. And because you have the Eight of Swords there, I think you may be picking up on people feeling like this, and that may be another reason why you're retreating into yourself. That might be another reason why you're like, okay, well, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just going to wait until, it passes. And I just did a reading for, who was that? Was it Pisces? Was it Pisces with? I don't know who it was, but I just did a reading, I think, with that card where I was just like, you kind of, no, I think it was Aquarius, but Aquarius didn't have that card. But I remember saying this message, like, you can't just sit back and let things happen if you know the things that you're supposed to be working on or the things that you're supposed to be changing, simply because Saturn is in Capricorn. And if y'all need more information on that, I have a video on it. I think I actually may link it because I think that video is tied in with with the full moon in Gemini. So I think that would be cool to link it down there. But Saturn is in Capricorn, so all the shit that we're not supposed to be in is breaking down. And if you hang out in something or in a situation, or you keep doing something that you know is not serving you or serving your highest good any longer, but you're like, oh, I'm comfortable. I don't want to change things because I'm scared. I don't know what could happen. I don't want anything bad to happen. Guess what? The shit's gonna happen anyway, because you were given the message that it needed to change. You were shown that you needed to change some things, and if you don't change them, things are gonna be really crazy for you. Y'all, I'm sorry, my hand has been itching all day. Who is giving me money? Which one of y'all is finna book a reading? Right hand too. My right hand is itching. All right, y'all, let's go into the next. Whew. I'm out of breath. I was scratching my hand really hard, I guess. Excuse me. Next card, you got 2 8 cards in here. 8 is a number of building. So whatever you're holding on to, Aries, or whatever you're afraid to make moves on, it doesn't matter. Sorry, it actually doesn't matter. You've got 2 cards in here that say you have no say-so on what's about to go down, okay? And I'm sorry. You've got the 8 of Wands there. And so the 8 of Wands, for me, when I read, that is the baby tower card. And the only difference that it has for me from the tower is that it may not be as hectic or as drastic. but the end result is the same. Whatever happens with this Eight of Wands is going to shift your life in a major way, and it may be subtle, it may be gradual. That's literally the only difference. But I more so consider this a sudden change type of card, and it could be a revelation. It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical change. It could be a thought that comes into you that really changes your perspective and shifts your perspective into, you know, oh, I got to do life different now because all of this ain't working for me. But, you know, when this card comes up, especially because I have this card coming up in this spread where I was talking about, you know, you may not have an idea of what's going on or how to get a grip on things. This card comes in and it says, hey, some clarity is about to come in for you. Something, you're going to see something, or something is going to happen that is going to show you the answers that you have been seeking. And when that happens, you may not just get an answer. Something is probably going to like, and I said it could be an answer, but something's probably going to actually happen that either one shows you what you were trying to see, or moves you out of the haziness into something completely different. And in retrospect, you'll be able to see, oh, that's what was going down. This card is also a card that could point to, you know, moving, like actually moving. And I'm sorry, I didn't even say this. This card is in the position of what's changing for you, what's breezing in, what do you need to adapt to. And you literally got a change card in that position. So literally all that's happening for you is some sort of major change is about to come in for you, Aries. And it's going to shift your life in a major ass way, okay? Now, you guys have the Son of Wands, which I have the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, which is a traditional tarot deck. Just my court cards are family members. So the Son of Wands is the Knight of Wands. And this is coming up in the position of how can you live your best life? How can you walk in your truth? How can you freely express yourself? And this could actually be you, Aries. It is a court card, so I'm going to give you a couple messages for that one. If we're talking about a person, this is how do you live your best life. I think we're actually talking about you. I'm not going to say there's anybody else involved here. The Son of Wands, fire sign. Aries, Sag, Leo. This is coming up in the live your best life. And the message that comes out for this, Aries, is you have actually got to be yourself. The best way for Aries to throw themselves all out of whack is to stop doing the things that make them happy, or to stop expressing themselves. You guys are a sign of self. So when you start doing things to where you're trying to, and this is not to say don't be considerate, but when you start living your life based off of how other people are viewing you, based off of what other people are thinking, based off of other people's actions, and, you know, if you're in a place where you're like, okay, well, I don't want to do this because I don't want so-and-so to react like this, or I don't want to do this because I don't want this to happen. That's the best way to throw you guys off kilter, all out of whack. You guys are the sign of self, and that's okay. Like the rest of us, we think it's bad to be selfish, and sometimes it is, most times it is. But what I also like to say is that it is so important to heal yourself and to know yourself. And Aries, if you're straying away from serving yourself, what good does that do anybody? Because that puts you into a position to where you feel restricted, to where you feel like you can't be you, where you feel like you can't truly communicate the things that are on your heart and in your mind and weighing on your soul. This is in the position of how can you live your best life? How can you walk in your truth? This is a card of trusting your instinct, Aries. You've got to be you. You actually, if you are in a position to where you're kind of keeping things at bay because you don't want a situation to go completely left, the situation is going to go left simply off of the fact that you're not being true to yourself and to the people around you. My suggestion to you, Aries, is to stop staying within this little secret hole of yourself. Stop focusing on what you can't control. Let life happen. And be you. Own that shit, okay? And the card on the bottom of the deck is confirming it for me. You've got the Wheel of Fortune. Earlier I said you've got two cards in here that tell me like you really don't have a choice as to what's about to go down for you. You got the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is in your soul message position. And typically this is one of my favorite cards. But because we're kind of talking about, you know, Aries, you kind of stifling yourself. You kind of, you know, you're not being the true you. You're allowing other people or other outside things to kind of you know, kind of put out your flame, the Wheel of Fortune is saying you can't live your life like that. That actually doesn't work for you. And because you're trying so hard to live your life like that, because you're trying so hard to keep things under control, especially if there are things that are not, like I said, that are not serving your highest good anymore, the Wheel of Fortune is saying, listen, you got the Eight of Wands coming in here. Some shit is about to change, and whether you fight it or not, it's finna happen because it's fated. That's your destiny. It has to happen because that's a part of your path, okay? That has already been laid out for you. And what I have been learning is when you try to fight the things that, you know, whatever you believe in, the things that God has laid out for you, the things that the universe has laid out for you, shit gets crazy. It gets wild. And then when you decide, when you know what those things are and you decide, like, yeah, I just don't want to do that, like, it just makes everything else a lot crazier. What I'm going to say, Aries, is that you actually know what you're supposed to be changing, and you're probably trying to put it off because you don't want to change your current lifestyle. You're kind of happy with, well, I wouldn't say happy, but you're kind of used to it, and you know it's safe. If that makes sense. You know it's safe. It might not be as positive as you want it to be, but it's like you're comfortable. You know what it is. But unfortunately, Aries, y'all's own fire energy coupled with this Gemini and air energy is coming in for you saying, no, sorry, sweetie, sorry, sweethearts. Shit's changing. And it's going to show you some things that you may not have been able to see before. And whether you are accepting of what's shown to you, whether you are accepting of the change or not, it doesn't matter because it's happening anyways. And you can either go with the flow or you can fight it and stay in this Eight of Swords and then be all over the place when you eventually have to fall off of that thought and then, you know, harm yourself. Or you can allow life to happen. You can be yourself, embrace that Eight of Wands energy, and understand that the Wheel of Fortune means the cycle is turning and things are changing. And then see what life has in store for you. And that's what I would definitely suggest, the latter. Who was I talking to the other day? I said something about the ladder, and they were like, the ladder? And I was like, no, like the second option. I don't know who I was talking to, but I've always heard that people from where I'm from don't pronounce their T's. So I say ladder and ladder, I say those two words in the exact same way. So I could definitely, I get what they're saying. But I would go with the ladder, Aries. I would actually live my best life and I would just allow things to happen. But I'm a water sign, so I go with the flow. Whoop, whoop. Ooh, y'all, what is that? I think it's an all shit card. It's an all shit card. That's the Three of Swords. And when I tell you, I just flipped the deck right here. That's the Three of Cups. You've got the Wheel of Fortune and you've got the Sun. So we were saying the Eight of Wands brings in a little bit of clarity to a situation. I saw the Three of Swords come out, and that is one of my all shit cards. When that card comes out, that's a card of betrayal, of deceit, of just being completely hurt, being in your head behind the things that are hurt. But I don't typically do love readings, but when the Three of Swords comes out, it automatically points to love to me. So for those of you Aries that are in a relationship, if your relationship is rocky, if everything that I said for you in this reading resonated with you and this card flipped out, there might be something going on that you don't know about, possibly an affair. The Three of Cups in love readings is an affair or extra parties. And the Sun came out, which is saying, like, if that is the shit that's going on, it's gonna come out. And the Wheel of Fortune, and y'all know this was in the reading, but I was already shuffled. The Wheel of Fortune is bound to happen. I hope, you know, I don't want to say I hope that this is not for you, but if it is, you know, like I said, honesty is the best policy, and I believe giving y'all the messages that come up and come out is the best way to help y'all. So was this a video where I was talking about, like, you know, if you're like, this ain't resonating with me because you don't like the cards, it's probably just because you don't want to accept what's being said. So, and y'all are Aries, and I know that it's very easy for y'all to do, is just be like, nope, that's not what I want to hear, so that's not what it is. But, you know, that's what the card said. That's what the card said. So, you know, I hope those cards can bring you a little bit of insight and a little bit of, you know, guidance on how to move through your life as far as this Gemini lunar cycle goes. If you like the reading, or if you want some more insight and you want your own personal reading, definitely go on and book a reading with me through my Etsy shop. If you don't see anything on there that you feel like can work for you, send me an email and we can get something worked out. I have all of that information down below in the description box. Let's see, I am back to checking my channel pretty frequently, so if you leave a comment or a question down there, I will get back to you within the next couple of days. If you like the video, or if you feel like, yeah, this could really actually help me within the situation that I'm in, go on and give me that little thumbs up. Give me the thumbs up. I truly appreciate y'all. What else? You know, if you got any Aries friends that you feel like might need to watch this video, definitely go on and send that to them. Or if you know you got any Aries friends that cross-watching, or you got any friends that are cross-watching for their Aries booze, y'all can send them this video too. Y'all share my videos a lot, which is how I get a lot of growth on my channel, and I truly appreciate y'all for that. Anything else? Yeah, if you made it all the way to this point in the video, you are clearly rocking with me, so you should hit the subscribe button so you can keep up when I put out new videos, okay? And I think, for real this time, I think that was it. So thank you guys for watching. I will see y'all next time.